Guess that's a sign.
All right, thank you. Good evening. Welcome to the February 10th, 2026 meeting of the Hollis Finance Committee. Can you read me well now, or do you want me to get a little closer to the mic, guys, or? All right. All right, we'll start with the roll call. We'll start to my left. Dick,
Me?
you want to just, yeah, why don't you just,
Dick Moran?
yeah,
Janet Gilmore. Shelley Brooks.
and Ashley, over there, our secretary. Thank you. We do have two members that did notify us that they would not be able to make the meeting this evening, and their absence is excused, and we will greatly miss them, but we do have a quorum. The quorum being present, I call the meeting to order. New business. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go back and talk about the meeting minutes of February 3rd, 2026. Have we had a chance to review those? Janet, are you all set?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Shelley, you all set?
I wasn't here, so I'm not
Okay,
sure I can
yeah.
vote on those.
Okay. Janet, how do you vote?
I vote to accept the minutes.
You want to make the motion first?
I make the motion that we accept the minutes of February 3rd.
Okay, I second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. New business, we will move to reviewing the budgets that are on our agenda. We'll start off with the closing closet, which was tabled last week, so that we can get a little more information. Dick, were you able to fine tune this a little bit so we could have a discussion?
Well, I don't know that I have any real exciting news. I did speak with the individual who handles the affairs for the clothing closet, pardon me, and they've been generating large sums of money every year that have been substantial enough to carry the small expenses that they have on the budget. I checked again today and asked if there was any need for additional funding from the town, and I was told absolutely not. They're perfectly suited with what they have. Mary gave me a series of numbers. Mary, those were expenses, right? From 22-23, there was $3,632. I suspect there might have been something extravagant in the building or something along those lines. 23-24 was $2,300. 24-25, $1,880. They have as much as $13,000 right now set aside in their account, and they are, again, I've been reassured that that is more than enough to carry them for a number of years, and each year they continue to receive donations in their support.
Just out of curiosity, they're all volunteers, are they not? I don't see anything for wages, so I'm assuming they're all volunteers?
Yep.
Okay. That being said, if they're happy with the budget, then I'm certainly happy with it. Can I have a motion to accept the budget as presented for the closing closet?
I'll make a motion to accept the Hollis Community Clothing Closet budget. I second.
All in favor? I'm assuming there's no other discussion. That motion passes. Code enforcement.
Excuse me, I actually have the account balance right now. Would you like a copy of that to put with your notes?
For the
For the
closing?
clothing closet.
Sure, yeah, that would be great.
Yep.
Dwayne, I guess you're going to be presenting for code enforcement.
Some of you don't know me. I'm Dwayne Hanson. I'm the code officer.
Dwayne, could you pick the microphone up? Or
Sure.
bring it a little
Is that
closer?
better? I'm Dwayne Hanson, the code officer. I started full-time in the fall of 2023. And this year, I put in for budget increase for a deputy code officer. Reason being is just the town is growing. I have things that Mary had given me about some issues in the town that's been passed on from code officer to code officer, and I just don't have time to do a lot of these complaints, things of that nature, dealing with the everyday issues and calls that I get, emails to respond to. That being said, that's why I increased the wages.
Okay. Would anybody like to question Dwayne on any of the items? My biggest question, Dwayne, I think you answered it, was in wages. There's a 22% increase from the expenses and budgets last year. And I guess that is for your deputy? Is that what you're?
On the wage increase?
Yeah, it's a wage increase of $23,667.
Yes. Yeah, it actually,
Should be revised.
yeah, it should be revised. Do you have the
You have
revised
a
one?
revised form?
44,000.
Oh, no, I don't have a revised one. I'm sorry.
Because I averaged it out looking through across the state, and for a part-time deputy code officer, they require, for whatever reason, they say, more pay than somebody full-time. So I'm basing it on 20 hours a week, and highest we could pay is $35 for somebody that's fully certified, like myself. But we could go down lower, so.
So what we have on, what I'm looking at on the screen right now,
Yep,
I don't know if that's what is being broadcast, but the item 0030,
That's the wrong one.
which is stated on here, or it's 0020 wages.
yep, yep.
That is the one I was looking at, and it's a 22% increase, and that's 23,000.
Yeah, no, we did a revision today.
So the revision is on wages.
Yes.
It's an increase of 44,812. It's about 42%, not
42%,
22%.
correct.
And that is for a part-time?
Deputy code
Deputy.
officer, correct. 20 hours.
And when do you propose to hire a deputy?
When the funds are available.
Okay, so sometime during the 26th, this
Yeah.
26 calendar
Yeah,
fiscal
'cause-
year?
yeah.
Okay.
It's right now, it's hard to find people. When I ever go to code classes, trainings, conferences, we're older generation that's doing this, and a lot of the younger people aren't picking it up, so there's a lot of moving around.
If you do get a deputy and they're working 20 hours, they are not eligible for benefits. I don't know.
Yeah, they do, 20
Oh, would they? At 20, they're eligible?
20 triggers it.
Is it 20, so your deputy would be working 23 hours or 20?
I thought it was 20 hours there. Yeah,
20, and that makes them eligible for benefits?
That's what I was told.
That's correct.
But sometimes it could be somebody that's retired and doesn't need the benefits, you know?
It's important to note this wages also include his assistant.
Yes, Tammy.
Yes,
Yeah,
I understand that. That's the reason for the big difference, correct? I mean, hiring a deputy. Have you discussed this with Dick,
Yes,
our town manager?
yeah.
And Dick, what are your thoughts?
I think it's a stepping stone that we need to take. Dwayne's here more hours than the building is even open, way early in the morning. He's out on calls first thing in the morning, and we have from the experience that I've had with him and the folks that he's had to deal with, increasing numbers of puzzles and problems that stem from years gone by that are now they're being revisited. I don't want to go through any of those right here and now, but it is an increasing burden. I look for him periodically and during the day, and many times more than not. He's out on the road with somebody. He was out this afternoon with the fire chief doing an inspection, and that's part of his job, granted, but there are other things boiling in the background that don't get the attention because he's out on the road doing the day-to-day. So I'm in favor of it. I think it's a safe place to be. We could possibly limit that to a shorter than 20 hours, so to avoid having to go with the benefits. There are people who want to work a part-time schedule, and a 5-day week doesn't have to even be 5 days. It could be 3 of the 4, or whatever his schedule may be appropriate to. But I do think it's a necessary step in the right direction. We've got a lot on our plate.
So Dwayne, what do similar towns have? Do they also have a deputy working with the code enforcement?
Yeah, right now, Waterboro does not. They just hired a new code officer. Last year, they let their code officer go. Buxton has a deputy. Gorham, surrounding towns like that. Standish does, Wyndham. Lyman, I do not think they do. Dayton, but.
So this is not unusual. It's something that it happens in other towns.
Yes, yeah. Jen Lehman, who was a former code officer that I filled in for her part-time and took over, she is now a deputy in South Portland.
Okay, well, I think that that's something that you and Dick have to discuss, whether or not you exceed or meet or exceed 20 hours, and whether or not that actually brings them on to more of a full-time role rather than a part-time role.
Okay.
So I guess I'd leave that up to your discretion,
Yep.
the two of you working together. And the other thing I guess I would like to point out, Dwayne, is that you also generate income. Is that not correct?
Yes.
And is this due to a influx of permits or requests for permits, or what is actually precipitating the need after all these years to have a deputy?
I'm trying to get more involved with the complaints, trying to get people to do, that we're getting a lot of after the facts. So an after the fact permit is a double permit fee. So that is getting tacked on. Complaints say too many vehicles, unregistered vehicles on your property. We have to deal with those. If they go over the period, we can charge a fee of $100 per day. We haven't had to do that yet. Most everybody has complied. or
So
working
there is some enforcement action that
Yes,
you
yep,
need to,
yep.
you need to
If-
really follow up on.
Yeah, if, stop work orders, find out somebody's, doing a project without a permit, and they've been told, I will usually work with somebody that's a homeowner, oh, I didn't know, but if it's a contractor, you get a good idea that, you're supposed to get a permit.
Well, I think it's probably a good suggestion, Dwayne. We've been in trouble before because we haven't followed up with enforcement or been able to keep up with the inspections.
Correct.
And, I think, you need to do the job correctly. And if that means you need to have more personnel, then certainly I'll leave that up to you two to, figure out. But I also would like the public to know that you do generate income,
Yes,
and there is some offset as well.
correct.
So, I think all we can do is ask you, I know you're a very professional person and you do a professional job, and ask you to obviously contain costs to the whatever
Sure.
maximum you can without jeopardizing the efficiency of your office and the quality of your office.
Yep, well,
Okay, do I have a motion?
I just have something really quickly on the budget. It doesn't look like the appropriation was changed at the top. So the total at the bottom was changed, but the appropriation amount
Oh, gosh,
wasn't changed.
thank you.
You want to?
That was a crash course, 2:30 this afternoon.
Okay.
I thought we were gonna discuss leasing or buying a car.
Do you want to go to the podium?
And just so you know, as general assistants, both Dwayne and the fire chief go out and do inspections for me on apartments that we pay for. So that takes up some of their time too. And some of the other towns, so in the future, we might be looking at having some sort of rental program. Some of the bigger towns have where you have to, if you're going to rent your property, you have to register and pay a fee in the beginning of the year to be able to rent, so that the code officer and the safety with the fire chief can go out and inspect the apartments before, you can rent them. So that's going to be in the future. But I thought we were going to talk about maybe getting a car or something because of all the mileage.
Yeah, I didn't put that down there as a... Under the, how about that? Thank you, Mary. Under equipment cost, that went up to 6, it was 3. And the mileage, I've been staying like around 2,500 on average for the past 3 years, for the year, for what the town has to pay me for mileage for my vehicle. So that, I was thinking, could be combined with maybe looking into a leased vehicle for the code office. And also, if it's here and I'm not using it, treasurer could use it to go to the bank, where she has to make bank runs, usually on a daily basis.
There are two categories here. One is mileage for $3,000, and
Yep.
the other is the equipment cost, which went up 100%. And so what are you telling me, that you have mileage plus another $3,000 that you would want in equipment expense, so it'd be a total of $6,000 for a vehicle?
Yeah, well, originally I was looking at something used, but I'm thinking that's a lot of issues. You don't know what could come up with buying something used. So my next thought process was doing a lease, and we're well under the mileage. I don't know. I know usually starts around 10,000, I think, per year, and we're well under that. So I was thinking that if I could find a leased vehicle for the town, that 3,000 would come away from the mileage and could be added to that, also the 6,000, so that would possibly give us a down payment along with the lease, and then maybe the option to buy after the 3-year period.
So are you suggesting that this vehicle would be housed here at the town hall?
Yep. No need to take it home. Yeah.
Well, I think my suggestion would be that you work it out with the town manager and figure out what makes sense.
Okay.
And then come back with a proposal.
Okay.
Because I can't really make sense of it
Sure.
right now.
All right.
So whatever you're doing currently, I imagine, should stay in place until you could put together some kind of a plan to
Okay.
either lease, buy, or whatever makes sense for the town
All right.
to go forward.
Yep. Sounds like a plan.
So I'm sorry I don't have an answer for you, but
No,
that's
that's
my
okay.
suggestion.
Yep.
Chief, did you have something you wanted to say, or I don't know if you were...
On this matter, I support the code enforcement's, seeking a vehicle to utilize. This town, in many categories, myself as well, but we'll focus on him, it holds a lot of liability for town employees using their personal vehicles for town business such as that. He should be in a town vehicle with some sort of a placard or something on it that identifies him as the town code enforcement officer, so it's easily identifiable when he pulls up somewhere to do an inspection. I think that this committee should definitely support that. He should absolutely, whether you table his budget for now until next week and have him research what the actual cost is going to be and have him put it into his budget to have that vehicle and then vote on it at that point in time, or you pass his budget as is now and you do it as a separate item. But that it's a very important piece. There's a lot of liability, as I said, to having town employees that have to be out on the road for their job in their personal vehicles. Essentially, the town still has the liability regardless when it comes to that personal vehicle. If he's headed out to do an inspection and he crashes his vehicle, he hits another vehicle on the road, right? He's out there on town business. The town is still responsible for him and what he's doing. If he's got bald tires or bad brakes or didn't get his vehicle inspected or registered, he has liability with that, but so does the town, because the town has him out there on the road for his job and doesn't put him in a vehicle that they control the fact that it has good tires, good brakes, inspections, and registration. So the town holds just as equal responsibility and liability and can be held as such in court. So for those reasons, it is very important that the town look to rectify this, this deficiency that they've had for years.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is that a question for me?
I think it's just a general question for the process. I just am wondering, is it up to us to decide whether or not the town manager and the select board allow someone to lease a vehicle? I mean, if it's within the budgeted amount, I would think that it would be up to the town manager to make that decision. It's not a capital purchase, it's an operating purchase. So I don't know why that would be up to us to vote on right now, I guess.
I think this committee could vote to accept it as part of the budget, and if it's in the budget, then it I think would pertain back to the town manager to decide if those funds will be spent in that way. But this is the budget process where you guys would approve that the cost of that lease in his budget, as an expense.
We had talked about purchase. You've been doing some thinking about that, Dwayne, and I think that's a good idea to do. So I had not heard lease until tonight, but I do think that's a viable option that we should explore. The numbers are the numbers. We won't exceed them. And to your point, this 172,845 is the appropriation, and the Excel sheet didn't add upward, it added downward. So thank you for pointing that out. But it would be within the budget if you declared these numbers valid.
As far as municipalities are concerned, they consider it a lease purchase. I've done some research into this. We're currently the only department in town that has vehicles as the fire department. So it's considered a lease purchase. Essentially, it's the same thing as making payments on a vehicle that you buy yourself. Just considered a lease purchase because you're not buying it outright. But in the end, by the end of that cycle, the town will own the vehicle.
Okay, thank you. Yes, to your point, Shelley, I think you're absolutely correct. If we approve this budget the way it is, and we do not want to take anything out of it for either equipment or mileage, then if we approve the budget for that amount of 172,845, then I think it probably would be up to the town manager and the code enforcement to work out some scenario that makes sense for the town. And obviously, they would not be advised to exceed the budget that they proposed. So I guess the real question on the table is whether or not we want to approve the $9,000, which would be appropriated for transportation. I guess that's the question on the table to us. Any other questions?
Nope.
No, I do have a comment. I want to make sure that there will be not mileage expense, but there will be fuel expense associated with the vehicle, but that'll be marginal at best.
Yeah, well, what I would say is that for mileage and for transportation, Dick, we have $9,000 in here. Whatever the most efficient and expedient way of working within $9,000, I think is something that you probably want to research and find out.
Yep.
Probably, it would be welcomed if you came back to the board and told us what you had in mind.
Sure.
But really, at this point, what we're doing is approving a number.
Yep.
So do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the code enforcement budget. I second it.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, no further discussion being brought forward. We'll call the question. All in favor of accepting this budget for $172,845, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the road commissioner. There are 3 different items. Item 500 is the first one on the list, and that is snow and sanding.
Okay. I'm Robert Hanson, I'm road commissioner. Oh, the current budget is $597,000. The proposed budget for next year is $615,000. There's a slight increase in salt, because I believe the price of salt will go up, and to purchase 500 yards of sand. That's the only change in the budget.
Do we have any questions for Robbie? The only question I have, Robbie, is that, and I know this is a sore subject, but the sand budget is from 2025 to 2026 to 26, 27 is an increase of about 600% from $1,000 to $7,000. Can you just give me a little understanding of why it was 1,000?
Roger
now
did
it's,
last year's budget, and he wanted to put more salt in the budget than sand, so that's what he did. We found out this year we're still using about 500 yards of sand a year, so we need to budget for about 500 yards of sand a year. So we can't run out of sand, which we almost did this year.
Okay, well, that answers the question. What you're telling me is that you didn't have enough sand,
Right,
so you have to obviously buy.
right. We had a
What you
pretty
need for
big
the-
ice storm at the beginning of January, and the traffic down back was fierce, and we have to still sand our dirt roads.
Okay,
So
All
there's
right,
definitely a need for sand.
can I have a motion?
Make a motion to accept the snow and standing budget at $615,000.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor of accepting the snow and sand budget for $61,500, say aye. Aye. Okay, item 600.
Item 600 is highway. This is your basic maintenance needs. This is your grading of your dirt roads and all the emergency responses we do. I kept the budget flat. Last year it was $129,100. It's the same for this year, 129,100.
I have a question, just out of curiosity. In 2023, 2024, there was a refund of $56,287. What would that refund be?
I would have to assume it was a storm refund for FEMA.
Yeah, as a EMA director, I applied to FEMA for reimbursement for large storm expenses, and that was the road crews portion of that reimbursement from FEMA.
So that was a one-time event? There's no way,
Correct, yes.
we're not going to see that again?
Correct, yeah. It's, if we have a major incident that gets approval for disaster declaration, then it opens up FEMA reimbursement opportunities. So unless we have a major event like that again, that's, those funds are not available except for declared disasters.
Great, okay, that explains it. Thank you. Robbie, under miscellaneous expense,
Yes.
this is kind of I just need an explanation because I don't understand it. Back in 2023, 2024, we had miscellaneous expense of $83,550.
Right.
In 2024, 25, we had $292,075.
That was money that was carried forward to redo 800 feet of Mansion Road, if I am correct.
So that was
We rebuilt
for paving?
the what I call the southern end of Mansion Road. And I believe there was a carry forward balance that the select board approved to do that project with.
There's one in 23, 2024 of 293. Did that get carried again?
Yeah, that's what you're talking about. The carry forward went, and that paid for that, right?
Okay.
So that was work that was done, though? That was a
Yes.
major road improvement?
Right, that was money we had saved up over the years, and we went to Spago Technics, got a bunch of conceptual plans done. So we could figure out the cost to do some work, and that was what we had money to do.
Okay, so that was just a money that was allocated from some carry forward. and
Yes.
You undertook a major project.
Yes.
But for the 25, 26, 26, 27, excuse me, you have $20,000.
Yep.
That's a far cry from what we've expended in the prior
Right.
years. Does that mean you don't have any projects on the
Well, no, we have
books?
plenty of projects in paving and coming up, but that category miscellaneous usually means we're responding to small storms. That's what we use when we have these windstorms that bring down a bunch of trees and stuff like that. That's,
So it's not a major project, that's
no, there's no
something-
major projects besides the standard paving coming.
Okay. Can you explain to me what brush cutting is in 2023, 24, $19,397. And then in 2024, 25, we had 3,400.
Yep, that's when we'll run a chipper and we'll have a section of road that we might be prepping to pave and we'll go and cut the brush. And that's for the labor and equipment to do the work. I don't think there's a chipper rental that might include the chipper rental in there. But that's basically what it is. That basically is about 2 weeks of labor and equipment to cut the new growth along the road. So we,
Why the big difference between years? You know, the 23, 24, you had almost 20,000, and then 2025,
because
24,
we had some big
25.
ice storms and a lot of we spent a lot of extra money. If you look at the sheets, and it's, we had the April storm where we spent almost, let me pull my sheets up. I'm gonna need a second. I pulled them from Diane. Highway. All right, so because we had the rain, windstorms with a lot of tree damage, there was $17,697 spent to clean that up. Last year and the year before, there was $38,849. And on Diane's sheet, it says windstorm, so I know it's from the windstorms.
Yeah, so, we have a category that 1223 for, called windstorms, and that was 61,650. And then the following year was 22,197. So, it just seems different.
I think it's an accounting thing. I think,
Windstorms is a different category.
right,
So what happens with, so brush cutting this year, we're anticipating $20,000.
yes.
It just seems like a major increase from 3,400, but it doesn't from the year 23, 24. So something odd must have happened in the year 24, 25 to only be 3,400.
Right, and I think because we spent a lot of time cleaning up from the storms.
Okay, well, these are budgets, so you're, obviously, you can't predict the future.
Right, we're
But,
dependent on Mother Nature, and, we spent 6 months cleaning up from one of those storms.
yeah, okay. The item number 0114 is for culverts. In 23, 24, we spent $25,798 in culverts. 24, 25, we only spent $4,500 in culverts. Then now this year, you're looking for a budget of $20,000 for culverts. Why does that jump around so much?
Some of that is unexpected, like driveway culverts. We've surveyed all our road crossing culverts, and we know they're in good shape, most of them. We've replaced most of them. These are driveway culverts that, we can't really see completely through. Some are okay, some we let go a little while longer. So it's more of a, okay, it's finally failed, we're gonna fix it. It's to have money available to do the work.
So we provide driveway culverts?
Yes, the homeowner provides the first one, and it's put in to my specifications. I inspect them with Dwayne's help, and then when they fail, they become the town's responsibility.
Whose property would they be on?
As long as they're within the road right of way. If they're on private property, they're not the town, as long as they're within the road right of way. And we are under state law to maintain our stormwater infrastructure. Those culverts are part of that. So when they fail, we need to replace them.
Okay, well, that's understandable if they're on town, if they're on the right of way. Those are my questions. Anything that you want to ask, Robbie?
I'm good.
Okay. Do we have a motion to accept the budget?
I make a motion,
Go ahead.
I make a motion to accept the highway budget for $129,000.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? None, but without any further discussion, I'll call the budget to question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, I think we got one or two more for you, Robbie, and then you're all set.
It's not snowing yet, so.
601 is the next one.
All right, paving, last year was 205,000, I'm asking for 247,100. The increase is because we've been on a cycle where we have 34 miles of paved road in town. We have 44 mile total, 8 miles of those roads are dirt. We're repaving them once every 10, 11 years. We've been taking money out of TIF to offset that, but TIF's kind of running out. So we should be around $300,000 to do 3 miles of road resurfacing. It's kind of a rough estimate. So what I've forecasted to do this year came up to that amount with doing about $20,000 in crack sealing. And I can list off the name of the roads that we are thinking about doing this year. Hanson's Lane, Shaw Lane, Lisa Lane, Witten's Lane, Stewart's Lane, Decker Lane. And they're all short lanes with kind of low volume, but it's their time to be done. So we need to step up and do it. They've kind of been pushed back, but it's their time.
Do you make that determination, Robbie? Is that something that?
I work with town manager and a select board representative, and if I need to, I can bring in Sebago Technics to get some recommendations if we run into some issues where I see major rutting or something, to get, some recommendations about fixing the base gravel maybe, but most of these roads are pretty straightforward. They've been paved, they just need a new coat of pavement.
Is there obviously there's a lifespan. Is there a rule of thumb that you use?
State resurfaces every 8 years. We've been getting 10 to 11, 12 in some cases. The newer the roads, some of the roads we've updated, like Dale Wander, we went 15, 16, because it was reground and the concrete was added. And so the rule of thumb is kind of 10, 11 years, and they're ready to go.
Okay, so you make the suggestion and you collaborate with the select board and with the town manager?
Yeah, they will help me make the final decision, because I have to get bids. I went and got a bid quote per ton, so I took that, put it into my measurements, did my calculations, added the shouldering, and came up with these numbers. They may change because prices change all the time, but they shouldn't change that much.
Okay. You have any questions for Robbie? Okay.
A question. So you said we have about 8 miles of unpaved. Is there any plans to pave some of those in the future, or is there funds available from the state or anywhere?
We went and did conceptual plans to get an idea of pricing of what it would take to build Bean Street. Bean Street is the highest volume dirt road we have in town. If I remember correctly, and please don't quote me, it's about $1.3 million to do Bean Street Mailman Way. It's a lot of money. It's actually cheaper to keep it gravel and maintain it per year. So I don't see any plans to rebuild many more dirt roads at this time, unless we find some money someplace or some grants or something to. Yeah, you got free money you want to give us?
Do we still accept dirt roads?
No, we do not. They have to be paved.
Okay. Do we have a motion on the floor? We do, I
Can I
believe.
just ask one more question? I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
The 42,000, so that's to repave the 6 streets?
The
lanes?
42,000?
Well, the difference, so you're
Yeah,
asking for 40, so it's just materials?
Yeah, it's just we're doing a little bit more than we did last year.
Yeah, okay,
That's the difference.
all right, thank you.
I believe we have a motion on the table.
I'll make a motion to accept the paving budget for 247,000.
Okay.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. The next item for you, the next and last item for you, Robbie, is the budget for road commissioner. It is 0602.
Yep. Last year, this was kind of created last minute at $87,802, and I just wanted to carry it forward because we're looking for history. This is kind of a new position. We're trying to figure out how many hours a road commissioner is going to work in this town, and, the select board are not here anymore, so it makes the road commissioner's job more involved. There's a lot more phone calls, there's a lot more emails, a lot more dealing with the public, a lot more, I don't even know the word, office work, whatever you want to call it. So, I think the truck expense, we just kind of, I don't know, it was last minute. Roger called me down and we threw a number at it. It was a kind of a guess. It's working. It could be cut maybe a little bit. The truck expense may be a little bit high. I don't do mileage because I am contracted with the town to work at state rates. My crew can work for state rates to achieve the highway work that needs to come in. So it doesn't make sense for me to do mileage. If I got someone with me, we're putting up a sign, I can't track mileage. It's a piece of equipment. It's not a vehicle that I'm traveling just to point A to point B. It could be on the side of the road with lights on it and directing traffic, or, if I don't know how I would track mileage, because I've always done it by the hour.
That's my biggest question, and that really is my only question on the road commissioner budget is that, the $26,000 that was budgeted
Yeah.
is at 72 cents a mile, is over 36,000 miles.
Yeah, I understand that.
So
And,
it just doesn't pass the logic
And I'm trying to
test.
explain it in a way that everybody can understand it, that if I send a crew to do something, I'm charging them an hourly rate for the labor and equipment. So if I'm running an excavator and I'm getting paid by the town, I'm only charging the equipment rate. But if my crew member is doing the same thing, I'm charging the town the labor and equipment rate. So,
Isn't the paving, but don't we have budgets for paving? Don't we hire people? Don't you do, like you said earlier, you do send it out to bid, you get 3 bids.
Yes.
So why wouldn't the contractor be doing that type of work? Why would you be doing that under truck expense?
because I am the contractor also for I am the contractor for some of the highway work. I have a service contract with the town to provide on-call response and do the general maintenance work for the town. And I get a PO through the select board, and I would do it now with the town manager for that work.
So am I right, if I understand it correctly then, Robbie, what you're telling me is this is expensive, the truck expense or expenses for a truck is not really mileage.
No,
It is for, it could be for equipment, it could be for a
it
truck.
could be from actual being on a job doing work, not just I'm going to Augusta to attend a show or a training or something. It's not that type of work.
And it's not you driving around inspecting or supervising under your road commissioner role, work that's being done by contract.
Oh, it could be that, and that's how I can't, how do I divide that up? How do I divide my time when I'm chasing the plow contractor around from the time I'm putting a sign up? I don't know how, it gets very convoluted, kind of, how do I separate everything out?
Well, then how do you charge it out? If you can't separate it out, how do you charge it out?
Because I stayed with by the hour
It's a flat rate.
as a flat rate.
So when you're doing a flat rate for a dump
if I'm
truck
out-
or you're doing a flat rate for an excavator, it can't be the same as your pickup truck.
No, and I don't charge hardly anything for my pickup truck when I'm out. Just overseeing the plow contractor, I don't charge hardly anything. I mean, I think I probably have put less than 100 hours in for that specific part of it.
Well, I think that's why at some point, and I know there's been discussion about perhaps this not being an elected position, but being an employed position where maybe if you were employed by the town, they might want to buy a truck for $26,000, a pickup truck.
Yeah, and I know there's a committee coming that can discuss these
Yeah,
things.
so my question is, in the meantime, I guess, Dick, you've got to reconcile it. I mean, I don't know how this category for expenses for
His total
truck
expenses
is
this year, I
misleading.
think, are under $17,000. we've expended about 16 and 8, 16
Yeah,
and 8,
that's
I
my
think I said.
labor, but I don't know where Diane's doing the actual truck. I turned in a separate invoice for my truck.
I can't, all right, and I can't answer that.
Right.
So I think it's, to me, it really needs to be further defined because, and not necessarily in this budget, but as it's being built out, it needs to be defined so that you know what, the labor, the labor is part of the wages, so that's not part of the expenses for a truck. And if it's for heavy equipment, that's different than expenses for a truck. And somehow it has to be billed. I don't know how you,
Well, the budget was set on the use of a truck, right, Rob?
Yes, we basically came in and I was asked, if we had to hire a road commissioner for 20 hours a week, what would it cost us? And I'm like, I don't know. You know, so I said, well, a truck with labor gets $75 an hour. So if you're thinking 1,000 hours, there you go. That's the best. It was last minute, and that's the best I could give them.
but the problem I have with that, Robbie, is that in wages, you're paid $52,000 a year, so you can't be paid in both places.
No, I know, and I charge separately for my vehicle or for the truck.
I just think that I have to feel comfortable before I could vote on this as to how the billing is presented so that Dick can authorize the payment.
Yeah, I keep a separate invoice for every hour. Like tonight, I'll be out inspecting the plow guy, whatever he's doing. So I will make a note, there will be a line item in that invoice that says I put 2 hours in driving around. And then tomorrow, I might put up a sign, so it's all detailed out in the invoice, so.
Okay, well, I think the classifications next time around will break it out differently. But in the meantime, the numbers, these are budgets. As long as you can reconcile it and you feel comfortable authorizing the payment out of these budget items, I'm comfortable with your oversight, Dick. But it needs to be flagged that wages cannot be also part of a truck expense. And when you get invoiced, the invoices need to make sense. It can't be mileage.
Yeah, they're not. But the invoices come in on a weekly or sometimes a number of invoices at the same time.
Sure.
And they detail what the expense is for.
And I'm not questioning Robbie's honesty. Please don't take it that way. I just think that it needs to be separated so that it can be verified. And Dick can be authorizing something he feels comfortable authorizing.
Absolutely, I completely agree.
Okay.
So what you're saying is this expenses truck needs to be broken down into a few more categories.
Yeah, next time around,
Next
I
time
think
around,
we should
right.
have that broken down.
Right.
And, we can talk about it next time around. But as long as the two of you are comfortable with what I'm saying is, we'll leave it up to Dick. He's got to verify the invoices.
Again, the invoices are coming in weekly, and they do say X hours of Rob
Yeah.
and X hours of truck.
Oh, I don't doubt that. I'm just saying, like, next time we see a budget, not this year, but for the next year, right, have that expenses truck detailed out just a little bit more so we know exactly what that all means.
Right, we'll have more history. We don't have any history to show you guys
Right.
yet.
No, that's true. You don't. I mean, this is the first time around for this budget.
Right. If we had 2 or 3 years of history, then you can see how you only used $12,000 in truck expense or whatever it is. I don't know, but we don't have the history yet.
Next year, when we look at this, we could look at it, heavy equipment, we can look at,
Right.
if it's mileage, it's mileage, it's something totally different. So we understand what we're asking to approve for a budget. But in the meantime, I feel comfortable that you are invoicing out of that category. Dick is reviewing them. And, the category may be a little bit more general than what we'd like to see for next time, but I'm sure that if you're presenting invoices, you're breaking the invoices down and Dick's approving them, we're getting to the same place.
I think next year, when we have more detail, it will be more clearer. We just don't have a history here.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand what you're saying, so we'll talk about it later.
Okay. Well,
But a truck is a truck, and he drives it.
Yeah,
and he's
but-
in it so many hours a week, and that's what we're paying for.
well, no, we're paying for also when he has equipment like an excavator, or he has a dump truck.
Right,
Yeah.
but that doesn't come out of
That
this.
doesn't happen very often.
That would come out of highway, or if I'm doing work in the paving category or whatever, that will come out of the other
Yep.
budgets. The only thing that comes out of here is when I'm doing
Your work as a
my work.
supervisor.
Right.
Well, I guess I don't understand that, Rob.
But
I thought I
well,
did.
my labor comes out of here all the time. I don't charge my labor rate. I charge, when I'm on an excavator, my labor rate still comes out of here. Does that make sense?
I thought I understood a moment ago.
Is it like, so it's like mileage, but also repairs and maintenance on the use of a vehicle?
Yeah, that's
right?
what the state rates are based on is 24, 26 per hour, and it's what the state has devised for small towns that don't have big highway departments, so they can pay a road commissioner to drive his truck around to do work.
Right. A lot of employers do that. Like if you use your own vehicle, you get a monthly or whatever stipend for using your vehicle that is mileage, but also includes like paying for your insurance and for, repairs and maintenance and stuff like that.
I don't know.
I guess I need a little more clarification. Expenses for a truck. Is this your pickup truck?
Yes,
It's just your pickup truck?
yes.
That's
But I
all
use
it
my
is?
pickup truck to do multiple things. Sometimes it's,
But if that's if that's all it is mileage for your pickup truck,
right, and that's why in the beginning I said it's probably inflated, because
it
when
would
we
be
originally.
it would be crazy inflated because I think the going rate is around 70, 72 cents a mile. And
The
at
truck may be
26,
sitting idle, though.
Huh?
The truck could be sitting on the side of the road.
yeah, but Dick, at $26,000, you would have to drive 36,000 miles. That's like
No.
10 times back and forth to
Joe, I'm
California.
sorry, you're mixing two things together that don't go together. This is the hourly rate for equipment. The equipment happens to be a truck.
A pickup truck.
I don't care if it's a dump truck, but his rate is $26. Is that right?
It's
Rob?
24, 26.
24 for the use of the truck per hour. Whether he's driving it or it's sitting, it's per hour use of the truck.
I could be in backwards when I'm plowing. It's not necessarily mileage going forward. It could be mileage going backwards.
But you don't, why are you getting $26 an hour for a pickup truck, including your wage for driving, if your wages are already included in the 52,000?
I'm not including it, I'm not including my wage with that. My wage is the 52,000. That's
So you're charging $26 an hour for your pickup truck?
right.
Which is that's a state approved
That's the state rate.
And,
And it was based on 1,000 hours, and to be honest, I might hit 500 this year, maybe. It's, but I don't know.
well, 500 would be extravagant. I think that number needs to, do you turn in invoices for the
Yes,
use of the pickup truck?
yes.
We have no history to base it on, so we're building this
Right.
case.
Well, I don't know, I don't know what $26 an hour for a pickup truck. I have no idea if that's the state rate, that's the state rate. But if it's $26 an hour, and it doesn't matter if you're driving it or if you're on a highway doing, 60 and doing 6 miles in a minute, the rate just, how does that equate to 70 cents or 72 cents a mile?
It doesn't. It's completely different. I mean, I could be sitting there on the side of the road with my lights on for 2 hours, putting up a sign or cleaning a ditch or whatever, well, directing traffic or whatever, but I still need that piece of equipment there as a safety feature.
Okay, I guess I would understand that.
And if I can, just from experience that I have with applying for reimbursement through FEMA, these rates are identified by the state, and through FEMA, there's a full schedule list of various things. So things that I deal with, it breaks down to, all the way down to generator use, right? If we had a major storm and this building was without power for a week and the generator outside was running, we take the size of that generator and we plug it into this schedule that we get from FEMA, and it tells you how much that generator's worth per hour for how many hours it ran, right? And it goes through every type of vehicle, every type of piece of equipment is in this schedule. We do the same thing for fire trucks. We do the same thing for pickup trucks. And it's a standard rate, and there's different rates listed. There's a rate for the vehicle itself. There's a rate for the vehicle plus manpower inside of it, right? So for a fire department, for example, a fire engine is about $125 an hour for the fire engine, and it's a separate cost for the staff. If it's all rolled together, it's $200 and something an hour for that piece of equipment staffed with manpower. And also, to his point, and the fact of the mileage piece, I can testify to that as well. We have a motor vehicle crash on Plains Road. It's 1.5 miles from the fire station. I take my vehicle out there, and let's say it's a serious crash. It takes down telephone poles, or there's a fatality. Now, my vehicle is parked in the middle of the road for 8 hours with the lights flashing. I have to have the vehicle on and running, but round trip, I've got 2.4 miles. That does not equate to how much fuel and the wear and tear on that vehicle for sitting idle in the road for 8 hours, right? So that mileage doesn't exactly play out appropriately, which is why state rates are often used for that vehicle. Since he's getting paid separately, there's a charge for his vehicle and then a separate charge for his man hours. That's why it's separate, and they're using the state rates. It's not a mileage thing.
Okay, I got it, Chris.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
So I guess the understanding how that works, if that's the rate excluding wages, then I understand the $26 an hour. But it has to be exclusive of the wages, because the wages are in a different category. And I still think that $26,000 for a vehicle for the year, just for the vehicle, seems excessive. And if you're telling me, Robbie, right now, it might be half of that, that would make me feel better.
Yeah, I could look and see what we're at.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, well, anyway, it's a budget number. If you come in under,
yeah.
we're
right.
happy. If you go.
I think next year when we have more
over,
history, it'll be a lot clearer for everybody.
It would, because we'll have an actual number to
Right.
work from.
Right.
Okay, I'm understanding now, Dick. I understand why you were confused with my question then.
Yeah, I want to make sure you do. You take that hourly rate and divide it into 52 weeks, it's about 20 hours a week, and he's barely using that. But that's what the budget was for. And I would guess, Rob, that maybe the end of December and the beginning of this month probably started to chalk that up a little
Oh,
closer.
yeah, so it's quite a bit
And
more.
what we have coming tonight will also result in another 3 or 4 hours that we can't plan on, but we have to budget for.
Okay, well, all I ask is that you review the invoices, and that hourly rate does not include wage. Okay, I have no further questions. Anybody else? Okay, looking for a motion to accept the road commissioner budget.
I'll make a motion to accept the road commissioner budget.
Okay.
I second.
Okay. Any further discussion? No further discussion. We'll take a vote. All in favor of the road commissioner budget as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Robbie, thank you.
Thank you all.
The last item for us to review this evening is the Town of Hollis legal budget. Dick, are you going to present that?
Yeah, I took this I took this one on basically from the last 7 months of the number of phone calls and what kinds of things I was talking about with the town attorney. I see that there's a slight increase because we do have a lot more questions of him for some of the more complex things that are coming our way through some of the boards, through the code office, and our transition in the form of government. So the 11% increase represents that increase in calls, and then, quite frankly, the distribution of that is based on my gut feelings from the call volume and what I have addressed with the attorney thus far.
Okay. The only one that stands out a little bit to me is the administration, and I guess the administration being what you just described for transition and...
Yeah, it's me calling the attorney to confirm what I believe is the proper way to go and keeping us out of court, going down the road somewhere. And I'm not making a joke of this, but he's not a $24 an hour guy. It's $300 an hour, so a phone call costs a lot of money.
Right. The other item that is seems like it's a big increase is for the planning board. I assume there must be some issue that would take it from 4,000 to 10,000.
Well, you can thank your state legislators for passing 5 separate laws that we have to implement with the planning board this year. We have till June of 2027 to have them in the zoning ordinance. So it's just a lot of changes they're going to have to do and work on with the attorney.
Okay.
And they're planning on passing more.
Okay.
It's all about affordable housing and having more housing available in southern Maine, so mostly.
Okay, thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Nope, you asked them.
Okay, can we make a motion?
I make a motion to accept the legal budget of $35,000.
Second.
Okay, no, is there any further discussion? None being said, let's move to a vote. All in favor of accepting the legal budget as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do I have any public comment? It's not too many people from the public here this evening. And I don't know, do we have anybody at home? I don't know if we're on Zoom or not. I'm guessing. Okay.
So I just wanted to update you on a couple of things with the old business last time. I know that you probably heard us announce with the TIF funds that we're looking for a committee to be formed to look at what we're going to use the remainder of the TIF funds for. You know, some sort of public works or, you know. And then on the carry forwards, we did vote on all of the carry forwards that we had questions on. So we'll be giving you a memo from the select board next week just to review what we voted on and what we carried forward, just for your information. So.
And you know how we discussed a little bit, Mary, last week about some of those carry forwards where they're not protected, but they're basically allocated to be moved forward in the same categories. And you and I looked at that and we're hopeful that with that big number coming up for the reevaluation, that we could make those funds that move forward into separate categories that are not protected and allocate them for the reevaluation, which would be pretty much the same, pretty close to the same
Right.
numbers carry forward. That's something that I hope that you'll take up in the select board meetings.
Right, I think the plan is to put it as a warrant article, to just take that funds out of the general funds, so it's not to the taxpayers, it's just taken out of our funds that we have available.
Yeah, I think that would be a
So we're
great idea.
essentially taking the carry forward money that we had left over, putting in the general fund until we need it for the reval.
That'd be great. That's be, I think, very helpful and not impacting our tax rate in any way.
And we do have the people from the water problem with the arsenic. They're all going to be here on Friday to discuss what kind of system we're going to need. So we'll have more information next week on the cost of that. So,
Okay, thank you.
thanks.
Nobody else from the public? The next meeting will be planned for February 17th, 6 o'clock, and it will be held in this venue. Okay, motion for adjourn, motion to adjourn? Either,
Oh, I second.
you want to make the motion?
I second to go home.
Okay, I'll make the motion that we adjourn.
I'm
Janet,
seconding it
Janet will second. I need to, there is no discussion when you have a motion to adjourn, so do we have a vote? All in favor? All in favor of adjournment? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job,